So I'm out here in the cold right now doing this video, or at least this segment of the video before I go back inside to work. But I want to talk about mankind's need to constantly look for an enemy. This is something that mankind does, and this isn't even on worldwide scales where we're talking about war. I mean, yes, that's definitely a part of it. But mankind in general has this horrible aversion to losing arguments. They have this thing where they have to be right about everything nonstop. One of mankind's biggest flaws and weaknesses is the fact that it always has to be right. Another thing that I've noticed is even on stuff like YouTube or forums, internet, Facebook, that sort of stuff, everyone's always got to be correct. No one's willing to lose an argument, ever. And even if they are in a position where they know that they're wrong, most people will argue that incorrect, wrong position all the way down to the last nodule, because the thing is they're more willing to continue the argument in the face of knowing that they're absolutely incorrect about what's going on with the argument, than finally just, I guess, falling on the sword, saving face, and saying, hey, I was wrong. People won't let things go. People have a need to constantly be 100% correct at any cost. And so this creates division, it creates wars, tears families apart, turns brother against brother, turns friends against each other, because people will outright refuse to ever admit that they were ever wrong about anything. And this goes right in the face of mankind always looking for an enemy. So whether it is mankind saying Al-Qaeda is the enemy, whether mankind is saying that ISIS is the enemy, and people should really look at that. I'm aware of what ISIS stands for as far as the whole terrorism thing is concerned, but think about it correctly and think about it logically. ISIS is Grecian. ISIS comes from Rome. Okay, ISIS was a Greek god. There is no way that an Islamic state is going to adopt the name ISIS for any means. That is something that is American. That is something that is Western. That is a westernized form of religion. And so now they're applying it to the Islamic State and claiming that radical Islamists are running around calling themselves ISIS and killing people and chopping off people's heads. Well, they might be doing that, but they're doing that with Western backing, Western forces, Western power, Western money. So if people were really thinking on an intellectual platform, that sort of thing is going to be really easy to see through. We got to stop looking for enemies. We got to stop making enemies out of one another. We got to start looking at ourselves and seeing that if we are actually in the right, if we're so morally upstanding and correct. Most people don't like to look inside, which is the reason why they always point the finger outwards. Because if you point the finger outwards, everyone else around you will be pointing and looking out. Oh, where's the enemy? Where's the enemy? Oh, he must be over there. Enemy's right here. Enemy is within. If there was ever such a thing as an enemy, it comes from within. It's the very thing that tells you that there is an enemy that direction. It's the very thing that tells you, look over there, do whatever you gotta do, but don't look here. So these are the things that I think people need to keep in mind. If we were in a place called the Land of the Fallen, it would only make sense that we would always be looking outwards for an enemy, while never looking at the one place that a true enemy would hide. Watch the movie Revolver. That'll help you out with a few things. The movie Revolver was an excellent movie because it focuses primarily on the ego and how the ego defines everything outside of it as an enemy. I'm your only friend. The only person you can trust is yourself. I'm going to tell you this. Man is flawed. Mankind is even more flawed. We're fallible. So everything in terms of religion, government, anything that's institutional is ran by man or mankind, therefore immediately making it fallible. It's the nature of how it operates. You cannot trust in something that is going to be completely corrupted from the inside out, especially if you got people running it who are corrupted from the inside out. Just because you haven't committed some heinous crime doesn't mean that that makes you someone that's any better than the last. There's a lot of things that human beings have to work on from the inside out in order to be as clean as they'd like to believe themselves to be. Eternal love.